You know, keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stopping. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. The Nate and Garrett Show.
And now, welcome to the Nate and Garrett Show. Prepare yourself to be transported to the furthest reaches of reality. As the hosts unravel the mysteries of the universe, the depths of the deep state, the truth hidden in plain sight, all while bringing you the news from this week. Please welcome your hosts, Nate and Garrett.
Let's do it live, Garrett.
Let's do it. Hey.
Hi.
Hey, everybody.
What's up, man?
Not much. Well, happy Monday.
Yeah.
Did you have a good weekend?
I did.
It's
I had
the
a good
return of NFL this weekend.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's always a really cool one.
Yep, I did some sports betting, and
how'd it turn out?
I lost a little bit of money, not too much.
Yeah, I lost quite a bit too. That first week's always the roughest. I know long term there's really no beating the bookies.
Kenobi! Mahomes, baby.
God, he is something special.
What, is he just killing it this year already, or what?
I think what's his third or fourth year in the league, and he's already arguably the best quarterback ever. And
people are saying that,
for
huh?
Brady, of course.
Yeah, you can't say.
He's on a really good path.
He better win 7 Super Bowls or whatever.
Yeah,
He's gonna.
I actually think Brady's the GOAT of every athletic endeavor since the beginning of time. What a crazy story. The guy's 42 or 43 years old.
Yeah, what a badass.
And he's got a bunch of obese 40-year-olds sitting on their couch yelling about how they would do better. It's kind of
right. Yeah.
But yeah, that gambling on that first week is pretty tough because you just don't know. But it's still fun to do. I did notice is way less ultra woke stuff this year than last year.
Thank God for that.
Oh, yeah, we kind of wondered because it looked like it was really hurting the ratings and stuff.
Yeah, big time.
And they seemed surprised by it. They seemed like shocked.
Yeah, people don't like being scolded.
They're so bad at reading the room.
Yeah.
Just because there's this really loud minority that tries to cancel people.
Dude, I hate it.
They thought they'd be applauded.
Yeah, I hated politics and wokeism invading sports. I hated that, man.
I think they're still doing like the black national anthem. How disgusting to have two different national anthems. That's just disgusting.
It couldn't be more divisive. I think it's a horrible message. I don't think black people appreciate it. If I was a black person, I think I would hate it. I would say, look, we're all Americans. Don't divide us into different peoples. Yes. You know, it's really
We've come a long way to get rid of segregation. Let's not bring segregation back. How about that?
Yeah. Dude, that whole idea, and playing the black national anthem in schools in the morning and shit, I think it's really
really
bad.
Doing that?
No, well, they were last year,
Jesus Christ.
There were examples of it, and it's like, talk about just excluding people and saying that you're all different. Yeah.
But I do think that the NFL got the picture, that woke point so much. But it's kind of funny how they silently pushed it away. It's like Democrats with Black Lives Matter when it's not an election year.
Oh yeah, where'd that go?
Slowly just go away.
Yep, just ignore that completely now. Yeah, we're not hearing much about Black Lives Matter.
Nothing. I love that.
It's not an election year.
Where every time an election starts coming up, it does this, and then it goes back down, and people still try to act like we're not fed propaganda every day. It's funny. Do you know what works? The propaganda for Newsom. We showed like LA Times how ridiculous that how ridiculous what they did to Elder and stuff. They've done a really good job of turning this into not yes or no on Newsom. They did brilliantly by saying, "Do you guys want this crazy black guy,
white
white
supremacist?"
Face? Yeah. Or do you guys want Gavin Newsom, who's a Democrat? You pick.
Yeah.
So it's left from the yes or no to Newsom versus Elder.
Yeah, they did.
They
did
completely a good job of making Elder look crazy.
Yeah, and they took the focus off of how terrible Newsom is.
Yes, they did a good job of that. So kudos to them, I guess. It worked.
And wasn't it a close election? Like 47?
For a
50?
while. I don't think it's even happened yet. It's just going to be a done deal. When Trafalgar Group is saying that.
I saw some poll or something.
Yeah, I know. But, that predicted for a while there was at about 50-50. And I think that's when the campaign and the media went heavy into it.
Speaking of Newsom, did you hear Republican voters are showing up and being told they can't vote because they showed they already voted? Yeah, I actually had that. I had that clip. I could probably pull it up, but yeah, I saw that. And I think they called it a glitch. It's so strange that the glitches are always against Republicans and always for Democrats.
Yeah, and the mail-in ballots is a fiasco there. Some people are getting like 4 or 5 ballots. They've either got to do something to blockchain or just in-person voting.
Oh, we have to revamp voting.
Yeah, if you're scared of COVID, tough luck. If you're away, vote wherever you're at. Then they can't keep doing this. This is a fiasco.
No kidding, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe how unsecure our elections are in the year 2021. Funny. It should be guaranteed. No one has a question at all of if their vote is counted. That should be so easy to do.
That the media got marching orders there too to sell the most secure election in history and yada yada. But it's so funny because right now we laugh at the Democrats because they call themselves the party of science. We keep hearing that over and over, but they're so anti-science. They're trying to turn the right now into the party of the conspiracy theorists too. I don't know if you've noticed that, but if you'd ask them what conspiracy theory, then they'll say the election. YouTube bans you if you even question it, and you all this. But you know that 66% of Democrats either still believe or believed that Russia hacked the voting machines and changed votes from Hillary to Trump. 66%. Right. That's higher than the amount of Republicans that believe that at this point.
Yeah,
but you don't hear anything about it. We went from being told that. The population is dumb enough that Russian disinfo agents were able to change the outcome of our elections. They went from that to this is the most secure election ever in the history of humanity. It's ridiculous, but people buy it. We really need that liberal party that used to question everything supposedly and used to be against and resist. And now
we're never going to see that party.
Now
again,
they're lapdogs, not only for the big government, they're lapdogs for big pharma, which they're not used to not be. There's so much lapdogs for big pharma. They're saying that you don't deserve your rights unless you consume this concoction that big pharma is making billions and billions of dollars on, and probably going to have boosters forever. But if you don't give them basically infinite money, you don't get your rights to them. Yeah. So they're giant lapdogs, pieces of cowards for the big government, for big pharma, which they used to be against. Remember the whole Martin Scorsese thing that they were so up in arms about, and how they seemed to act like they cared that big pharma used to do this and that. And kind of big corporations now too. Look how they're treating like bailouts, the stock market, and everything.
They're just lapdogs for authoritarianism. They're just love authoritarianism.
Hypocrite cowards.
Yeah, dude. No, I'll never forgive the left. I view them with suspicion. I think they hate the Bill of Rights, and I think they're enemies to America. In as far as
it's so
they want to get rid of free speech.
They used to cancel people for being too close to Hitler, and they'd tell us that Bush was Hitler. That's the big one. My grandma used to say that. I was born in Germany, and I know Hitler. Bush is Hitler. And obviously, he was just a blood-hungry buffoon that got led around by the big government. And then with Trump, we basically have the same thing. But if you notice now that you're not getting canceled by liberals for being close to Hitler, now you're getting canceled for comparing anybody to Hitler. Now you're saying, wait a minute, this is very Hitler-esque when you're asking people for their papers.
And they go, how dare you?
Look, Marjorie Greene Taylor compares to talk about Hitler. We need to cancel her.
Right.
And it's real convenient that now you're being as close to Hitler. Yes, you heard me right. Modern day liberals are closer to Hitler than any other group in the world since, basically.
Yeah.
And now you made it basically a cancelable offense to compare anybody to Hitler.
Yeah, they did it for 4 years or longer, and then as soon as it starts coming back on them, they go, how dare you?
Yeah.
Time to start comparing them to Stalin so we don't get canceled. They'll probably like that, though. We will do Pol Pot after that. Yeah, Mao.
Well, they're even trying to change the history on Pol Pot and stuff. I'm sure you've seen that too, but what a weird time we live in.
Well, Garrett, there was a recent MMA shout out that I was thinking maybe we should open the show with here. I think it's a pretty good shout out. It deals with politics. I think
it's spreading to college football, which is now spreading to baseball.
We can show that next. But he makes some political statements that I think are really smart and I agree with. So I want to make this full screen. There we go. All right, let's listen.
Hey, yo, I just want to make a call out. Joe Biden, you're the biggest piece of shit this country has ever had in office. Hey, yo, not only Joe Biden, yo, Bill de Blasio, you're about as New York as a subway rat. Kiss my fucking ass. And anyone who supports vaccine mandates, you can suck my big old Portuguese Italian cock.
Yes.
I wish they showed us what the next guy was going to say.
I think he was going to just say, I agree with him.
How great would that be?
Dude, that's the best shout out I've ever heard.
Yeah,
hey, I want to make a shout out. Let me do a shout out. And then he comes out with that.
We need to do some research on who was that. Did they win?
I think he won.
It seems like a victory speech.
Yeah, it seems like a victory speech. I hope he won.
It's a weird thing to say if you lost.
Yeah.
And even weirder before the fight, of course.
But you know what? I'm this guy's biggest fan now. Whoever he is, I got to find him and start supporting.
I really want to know because you see his opponent grabbing the mic. I want to know what he says there.
Yeah, I do too.
We got to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll try to find that maybe for next show.
But yeah, this is where do we go? Do we show the clip of Biden trying to talk about this? Someone asked him about 9/11, and he used the dead 3,000 dead on 9/11, basically say how they would be ashamed because I think he saw a fuck Joe Biden sign. I think that's what he's trying to say here. But it's so hard to follow with someone that's well into the moderate category of dementia what they're trying to say here. But we got to play it, right?
All right, let's play it. See what he says.
The point is, what I'm thinking about today is what these people who, and I've got a small piece of one of the beams they gave me last time, or not last time, but
spit it out.
And the flag they gave me. And,
I'm sure you'll find thermite, Garrett.
I'm thinking of,
probably even super thermite.
What for the people who died? What would they be thinking?
No, we gotta go back a little bit.
Think this makes...
I've kind of lost it.
Not as much as Joe did.
Yeah, I know. Jesus.
He cannot spit a point out here.
So he can't even talk.
All right, let's let him.
How many times ago? And the flag they gave me. And I'm thinking of, what for the people who died? What would they be thinking?
Okay, so he sees a fuck Joe Biden sign.
That's what I think what people are trying to make, because he kind of says it at the end here. Like, I don't think anyone knows what the fuck he's saying.
Well, he kind of said, what would the people who died think if they saw a fuck Joe Biden sign? Like, that's kind of what he's saying. He's like, Joe, I don't think they would give a shit.
Why would they assume that they would be rolling over their graves for that?
Yeah.
That's such a weird assumption. It's 3,000 people. The only thing they had in common is that they happened to be at the World Trade Center for work that day.
Right.
And he's acting like they died for some greater ideals, and those ideals are about being gentlemanly to the president. I mean, how weird is that?
That's kind of what he's getting at.
What a weird assumption.
Yeah, but mostly he's just rambling and scrambling to tie people being disrespectful to him to 9/11.
He probably saw something as he's showing up and thought, fuck Joe Biden. I'm Joe Biden. What the fuck me? What?
I'm Joe
and they
Biden,
probably
right?
prepped him. Hey, remember, bring up the 3,000 dead. Just say a good thing about it. He's probably thinking, what? What do these guys think about fuck Joe Biden?
I think you're right, man.
How weird that the media, if you've seen stuff where media is basically selectively editing the interviews to make him look more competent than he is. So doing the exact opposite of what they did to like
the cutting out all his ums and ahs and stuttering around.
And when he just gets lost, they're not showing it. It's weird how they're just following the marching orders. But how weird that people are supposed to watch that and pretend that's not a guy well into dementia.
I know. I can't believe, at this point, the whole nation is kind of not even pretending that he doesn't have dementia. The media is obviously won't let anyone ask questions. They quickly say like, no, we got to go. They're definitely not even pretending he doesn't have full-blown dementia.
If you could tell, like, the debates were about a year ago, probably? You could tell
Really,
he's worse.
Lala. Ha-ha.
You could tell that he's worse than he was a year ago. Back then he could at least be medicated and stuff. I mean, there's that video of him just walking away while his wife's speaking and stuff. He's lost it.
No, he should not be president. Did you guys see him yelling the other day during the moment of silence? No, but that sounds pretty funny to watch. Let's watch this little short clip right here. This just happened recently.
This is a scary one. And they still act like...
Oh, what?
I just... Used to be... Who was it? There was a White House reporter. It was a female. She's really old. And she's kind of known because she was at the White House, like, the press briefings forever. And she always used to sit kind of like on the bottom right of our screen. And she would be asking questions and stuff. And she actually resigned during Obama's presidency, basically saying, like, look, presidents used to be not so secretive, and they used to be out there, and we're not able to ask questions of this president. And she said Bush was worse, type of thing. But she said, I'm done. This is getting bad.
Yep.
And then Biden runs on being the most transparent presidency in history. And, like, when are we going to see some of these reporters that are at the press will speak out against this? You're saying, we can't ask questions. We have to pre-submit these.
He calls on a list so he's got. I mean,
you saw one where they asked a different question, and he said, well, I think your question is, and he told her what she was basically supposed to ask.
Yeah.
Like how long does it take before they start speaking out about this?
Until a Republican president does it, then they'll speak.
I know, yeah. But that's that Republican. I forgot his name. He's the Republican correspondent. He kind of gets. He's the one that does, and he will. He's the one that recently asked, like, well, you're mandating American citizens get this vaccine, but when migrants come, you're not mandating it. Why? And all Jen Psaki says, that's right. And she just moved on.
Yeah, he's the only one that gets to ask questions to Jen Psaki from the right side.
Yeah, he even asked, like, why is it that whenever Biden actually finally takes questions, he'll never take questions from me? And she basically said, well, John, I take your question, don't I?
Unreal.
Yeah, so it's really unbelievable that they're expect everybody to believe this.
And here's an example of the media and White House not letting Biden,
which is even worse.
They do a good job of not letting him talk.
I tried to Google this, and it's not. You can't find.
Can I ask you a question?
Can you imagine if they did this to Trump?
Oh yeah. All right, let's let it go.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
One of the things that I've been working on with some others is
they just cut him off.
What could that have been?
I think they saw that he, I don't think they were stopping him from asking something big. I think they were stopping him from losing his trail of thought publicly. Like, I think he was starting to stumble and reach around.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
he started to say, like, I've been working with a group of mothers.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell could he be talking about?
He was probably going to bring up something from 1982 or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But how about him just cut him off,
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's no denying it.
They got away with 2 debates last time. And there's already calls for him to not debate Trump for whatever reason. Do you think we see him in a debate ever again?
No way.
Because that it's just going to be worse.
I don't think we'll see him in a debate.
I don't think the stress is hitting him like it did. Do you remember how much Obama aged during his presidency? I don't think we're going to see it with Biden because he's just not there enough to have the stress.
Yeah.
But they're just not going to be able to let him go out there and talk. There's no way.
Yeah. They like the hair on my legs, these group of mothers. I got hairy legs.
You know what's crazy about that is I'm pretty sure he used a racial epithet when he said roaches, and nobody questioned him because he's Joe Biden.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
He had to have.
He said he learned about roaches.
He was talking about roaches that day.
Yeah.
He was talking about being in a black area.
Yeah.
And learning to deal with black people, basically.
Yeah, I think that is what he was saying, because he's racist and he always slips out racist shit accidentally.
He's racist, and he can't hide it.
Right.
It keeps slipping out over and over.
Right. Yep. Well, the American people at sporting events around the nation.
So this kind of started college football.
Yeah.
Which the Democrats' best age group would be college age, which is a little bit weird about this to me.
But you know what? It's college age kids who aren't sports fans.
I know there's some selection for that. Yes, absolutely. But it's still kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is still kind of crazy. He told people they aren't black if they don't vote for him, and he's an old racist white guy. Yeah, for real. But this is a new phenomenon that's just happening, and it's sweeping the nation. Here's what it is.
Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden!
And this is probably the weakest of the video.
Yeah.
That's his little section.
I
think this happened in the Huskers games too, but there's just a ton.
There's a ton of this.
Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden! Fuck Joe Biden!
I've heard some that sound like the whole stadium.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Every college football game for 2 weeks.
Makes me want to go to a game. Anyway, there's shitloads of these. There's too many to show them all.
Yeah.
And they're happening in, major sporting event, not just college football either. NFL and all over. So
yeah,
that's good.
At the SEC schools. So not only is that their age demographic that they basically thrive on, they're in blue areas too. I don't know if it means anything, but it's pretty awesome. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I do think these primaries are going to be a rout. I think the media is already doing their best to spin it. I think they're going to use the Larry Elder playbook on this one. They're basically going to say, look, we know Biden shits his pants and can't talk, and that the Democrats have not beat COVID, yada, yada. But do you really want this racist guy? Do you really want DeSantis or whoever it's going to be?
Right.
And we're going to start really seeing them attack whoever it's going to be. And they're going to try saying if it's Trump, they're going to say you're a traitor for Trump, and they're going to talk about sedition, and it's going to be all sorts of stupid shit. But it's not going to work because it's too.
Yeah.
I don't think Florida's even a swing state anymore. I don't think it ever will be again.
No. I think we're going to see a red wave.
Yeah. At least for the primaries.
Because Democrats have
abused the little bit of power.
Abused everyone in this country except their far left extreme base who likes it.
And the media's doing a good job of making you feel like you're an outsider if you're not for vaccine mandates and staying at home and being scared.
Yeah.
But when you go to vote, those people are going to know they're not alone.
Yeah.
We're going to be told afterwards that it's uneducated racists and
whatever.
everything else. But it's just not going to work. That playbook is getting too played out.
Yeah, and I think people are ignoring the media more than they ever have, and not paying attention to them. Thank God for that.
It's so funny to go on like the far, far left places of Reddit, and somebody will say like, "America, what are your thoughts on Biden?" And everything's just, well, I don't know, but it's so nice waking up and not hearing his name in the news every day. It's like, oh my God, you're that easily fooled and led.
Yeah, they are.
You bring shame to your families with that. I mean, that's such a cop out.
Agree on the primaries. There is a calm sense of confidence, it seems, but hopes that doesn't bite the right in the ass by just assuming they are going to win. You know, I think that's another thing. The right doesn't fall for that.
That's a funny one that the left always uses for an excuse. They're always like, geez, you're just trying to, people aren't going to vote. So you're just, these idiots just stayed home. They always say that. That's what it was when Bernie lost. Like,
we were too confident.
Bernie guys are just staying home. The idiots.
Yeah. We thought it was in the bag. The right doesn't do that.
Echo chambers aren't are echoier than you think. That's what it is. But they just assume that there has to be an excuse. Either the Russians or the idiots stayed home, or they did like Brexit. Oh, they fooled the old people. The old people didn't know what they were voting on. The old people actually thought they're voting on staying. I mean, that was the line.
Right.
I forgot. Did they vote twice on Brexit or just once?
I think they voted twice. I think they might have voted 3 times.
Because they basically said too many people got fooled. We got to do this again.
Yeah, and then they lost again, and they thought, how are we going to just ignore what the people voted for? And then they did everything possible to do that.
Yeah, they really did.
And it's still kind of not through, right? I mean, it's still like...
I think they're finally not a part of the EU.
Okay.
And so they're trying to blame any shortages that are happening with COVID. They're trying to blame it on that now. Because they were basically told the world was going to end with that one.
Right.
Basically told that's going to be, even though the world was fine before the EU, we were told how people are going to be dying in the streets and, whatever. And females no longer had rights, even though Paris is filled with females that are forced to wear burqas from head to toe, and that's somehow not against their rights. But
dude, speaking of that, I wanted when we were showing the fuck Joe Biden clips.
Yep.
I wanted to make, to say that that's probably because of the Afghanistan withdrawal horror.
That seems to be a big one, which is kind of funny. We saw right even before the Afghanistan withdrawal, Biden's numbers tanking. And after Afghanistan was so terrible, but CNN changed how they were doing their polling, and basically they were taking polling from before Afghanistan, and they were trying to use that as like, look, Biden's numbers are coming back up. He's up to 53%.
Yeah.
Trafalgar Group came out and said, no. Here's our newest poll. Only part of it was after Afghanistan, but his numbers have fallen since Afghanistan. He's now down to about 40%.
There you go. And then I just wanted to show this little video, which I had on Twitter, but it got deleted.
Tell me he shoots that.
This isn't the one. Anyway, the one I saw, they were all counting money and they were counting these gold bars. And TZD, the highest Republican leaders seem to be a part of the establishment. Big time.
I've said this on the show, we're a conspiracy show, but I think the grand conspiracy right now is everything we're going through right now, because the right and the left have been on the same side of the coin forever. Forever. I mean, that whole party flipping thing, there was no flipping because they've been the same party the whole time.
Yeah.
It's almost like WWE, where they act like they hate each other, but they don't. They don't want to lose power. They don't want any third parties. They want incumbents to win. They want it to be the incumbents always basically get their seat back. And I think we're being punished for electing Trump.
And expand the power of the government.
They elected Trump.
Yeah.
And they first thought, okay, media go into overdrive, make this guy look crazy. And it didn't work. And China started hurting really, really bad. And I think China went to their handler. The Chinas went and told the Senate and the Congress, who are basically their handlers, saying, end this. And next thing we know, we have COVID, which is made in a lab. I think that's really what's going on here.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, DZ, I couldn't agree more. The left and the right are the exact same. There's almost no difference.
Yeah, I do not trust these lifetime politicians from either side. I think they're terrible.
It looks like the governors of red states are doing better than blue states. But the only reason they're doing that is to stay in power. They know they're polling, and they know that if you're in a big red state, your best way to fame and to be the next front runner is to be like a DeSantis or what's his name down in Texas or whatever. They wouldn't be doing that if the polling was showing bad, especially locally.
Right.
If Texans were against it or if Floridians were against, if they were for lockdowns and mask mandates, DeSantis would be for lockdowns and mask mandates.
Maybe. I think that about all politicians in general. So I don't want to disagree. I just kind of think maybe DeSantis actually has. You think
somebody out there has a little bit of a backbone?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Brave of you.
I'm not on a limb saying a politician might not be a spineless piece of shit. But
I think Justin Amish is probably one. I think Thomas Massey. I mean, but we're talking that's one senator, that's one congressman.
Rand Paul.
Yeah, Rand. I especially Rand now. Andy, what's his name from Arizona? He's just a congressman, but he kind of Trump.
Some of these guys seem to have actual integrity and they stand for what they think is right.
Yeah.
And I think maybe DeSantis
I still
is that
think
way.
They're still guessing the way the wind's blowing.
You could be right. I think that in general about all these politicians. Jim Jordan, yeah. Well.
But, yeah, so I agree. But what were you going to show? I'm sorry, we kind of got off track.
Well, I was going to show all these Afghanistan people counting money and counting gold bars with the fan.
There's a meme where I got to send it to you. I tried to, but it's on Facebook. But it was like, here's what we do to Afghanistan. Give them more of our guns. And it's like a guy sitting in his living room with his family there. He's got a handgun. He starts just shooting it off. Did you see this?
No.
And like the kids are like crying and covering their ears, and the wives are like trying to not react, so they're going to get beat. He takes his hand, points a gun at it, and just shoots like he was like a water gun. And you see like his carpals come out of his hand and stuff.
Seems like a really smart guy.
But it's just what a bizarre world. And now all of a sudden they're handed these tanks and Apache helicopters and stuff.
Yeah, there's no doubt that the withdrawal from Afghanistan is such a disaster that it's costing Biden a lot of support, even from some people on the left.
It's even big for you and me to say. Like, we've been saying for 20 years, we need to get the hell out of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
In general.
No shit.
But man,
I support getting out of there. Right. I just think you don't give them $85 billion worth of equipment and completely empower the Taliban.
The allies there and the American citizens.
Yeah, and then
obviously just set it up to come back to save it.
Yeah, and then do a drone strike killing our interpreter and 7 children and claim it was an ISIS target.
So no, it's not that. It was the leader of ISIS-K who did the bombing that killed like those 9 Americans or whatever.
That's what we claim. But that's what our Pentagon's still saying, by the way. But it's not the truth. Now they're saying, well, we're investigating it. Okay.
Well, unless you have more of those Afghanistan videos pulled up, we were talking about the MMA fighter. We could show the new MMA fighter.
All right, let's do it. Alana McLaughlin. How should we show this, Garrett? Do we want to just show the fight
first? Or do we want to show a little bit of this?
Well, look at this.
So this is my transition story.
So this is the MMA fighter. Look at this dude. He was a special forces military guy. Is right now a female trans MMA fighter fighting MMA. This is the second example of this that we've talked about on the show. And you know what? It's hilarious to me.
This is less egregious than the Fallon Fox one. Because the Fallon Fox was doing it in incognito.
Oh, they didn't even know she was
Fallon Fox was not
that Fallon Fox was trans.
These housewives. And Fallon Fox would go out there and just break orbitals and almost kill these girls.
Yeah.
This one, at least, was up front.
You know what I love about trans MMA, fighting biological females? I love it because it's just the best example of political correctness gone insane.
Gone crazy, absolutely.
It's for almost no rational person can look at this and go, "This is okay. This isn't weird or wrong."
South Park is really good at taking the extreme and basically showing like, "Hey, you dummies, this is what happens in the extreme."
Yeah.
But in real life, we don't see that a whole lot.
No.
But here we're actually seeing it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they act like, oh, whatever. If the sprinter takes the spot of a female sprinter,
Big
the female
whoop.
sprinter should get better. That's what they basically say. They should get better then. It's so funny.
But now we have a guy actually beating the shit out of women, you know?
It's so just crazy.
It's the best. I absolutely love it. I want to see more trans MMA fighters, and so that hopefully people can go, maybe we're being ridiculous.
You think that might help the pendulum swing back if a transition fighter kills a female fighter?
Oh, God.
How crazy
I don't want to say that.
Is that going to be...
It probably will happen.
Are they going to blame MMA for that? Or are they going to blame...
They'll have to, because they won't be able to use reason.
Because they can't. I mean, ESPN and stuff is going to have to cover it. Because of the death of MMA. They have to cover it.
Yeah, if that happens, then the left, they won't be able to say, like, trans females shouldn't be fighting females, because that would be admitting that there's something different, okay? So they'll have to say UFC needs canceled. You know, we have to cancel MMA.
I think they're going to try to cancel the trainers. They're trainers. They knew this lady should not have been in the cage. They knew that she wasn't good enough and couldn't protect herself.
She should have been tougher.
Yeah, she should have been better. That's my guess. Because if this plays out long enough,
it's such a joke, dude.
It's gonna happen at some point.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is the biggest joke in the world.
Let's keep an open mind. Maybe this guy really transitioned to a real woman, and we need to see it.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Okay.
Season 2, episode 1. Do we want to show a little bit of the transition first? We get a view of what this soldier was like in his life before.
Yeah, but let's read Kenobi's comments here. Maybe they can create a niche like midget boxing. And where are all the feminists now?
Scared shitless because they're called TERFs.
Yeah.
If you speak up. And,
I think a lot of the feminists are on the side of the trans females, kind of saying, they're women, she should fight in the MMA.
Because they're afraid to be called TERFs. I don't even know what that stands for, but it's basically like
I don't either.
Trans exclusionary feminism. Like that's what they're trying to cancel J.K. Rowling with.
Well,
J.K. Rowling is so woke that she tried to change Hermione to a black person. Even though in the book it talks about her having like red hair and super pale skin. A fan had to tweet at her the page in the paragraph where she basically says Hermione's white. But somebody says, I think Hermione's black because of her intelligence. And she says, I love that. Nowhere do I say she's not black. In fact, that fits canon. People on Twitter say, no, it doesn't. Because on
pale skin with red hair and ginger freckles.
Here's her red freckles. And
okay, but
so, she became so woke. But she basically said that trans women have an unfair advantage in sports. Is basically what she said. And she's canceled. Liberals hate J.K. Rowling now. Hate her.
Well, yeah, what a joke.
She was like buddy with them so much before. Do you know that they also tried to change? She tried to change that plumbing wasn't available in Hogwarts for a lot of years. So they would squat down and take a dump and magic their feces away, is what her explanation was. Everyone points out saying that can't be true because in the Chamber of Secrets,
there's toilets.
The pipe.
Yeah. Okay, that's a weird one.
Yeah, there's some weird shit there in Pottermore.
All right, but you know what? You can't accuse me of being a TERF, Garrett, because I support trans MMA. I think
You're the biggest critic right
I think
now.
It's hilarious. And I think the ridiculousness needs to continue until we completely say, maybe we're being insane to allow them to beat the shit out of women. And until that happens, more of it. And it's the same. You know what else is a great example of this that I also think is super great because I'm super accepting is trans females going to women's prisons. They almost can't stop that. And it's happening a lot, and like rape is happening in these prisons now.
Is there an issue with now female prisoners getting pregnant?
Yeah.
In some prisons?
Yeah, and then they're like having to include condoms in there for the rape that's happening.
You know what's crazy? We didn't talk about it yet, but there's that real famous YouTuber, speaking of dementia, that was sleeping with his mom, who's got terrible dementia, got caught.
Yeah.
Because he's bragging about it. And they initially sent the YouTuber to a female jail. And then, I don't know who made this decision, but then they changed and sent that YouTuber to a male jail.
Right. Which, you know what? Why did they do that though? Because
I don't know.
Isn't she a girl? Isn't she? Yeah, I guess there's
anti-trans.
I guess they're anti-trans in the state. I think I was in California. They should be canceled. You know, they have kind of no argument on these things. They've painted themselves into a corner. That's kind of the point I'm getting at. The left has painted themselves into such a corner that they have to
party of science.
Yeah, they have to support trans females beating the shit out of women in MMA, and they have to support trans males going to female prisons.
The most recent was AOC, but it's so funny to see the left have to dance around this issue, especially when it comes to like abortion.
Oh yeah,
well, if you're male, you have no say.
They have to go completely insane. They can't have rationality.
Oh yeah, males have no say in this, but males can now get pregnant. What about a male that can get pregnant?
Oh yeah,
so they're really
that's
a
good point.
Slipped up in this now.
That's a good point.
So it's really funny to see.
But you know, here's one more thing. Any male going to male prison is an idiot. Every single male should immediately claim to be female and go to female prison. Why would you go to man prison?
We got to look into why that YouTuber is now in a male prison.
I think that person's rights are being violated by the state, aren't they?
We've got to dive into that. That should be the next deep dive. We should call the prisons and ask them.
It's hard to even pretend to be this.
Yeah, I think we should play a little bit of the transition story.
I keep tripping over myself trying to be as crazy as the leftists.
I think we should play the transition.
Yeah, good idea.
Even if it's 30 seconds.
All right.
Just so people can see what we're dealing with here.
Because I felt like it was my only option to either force myself into manhood somehow or die. I wouldn't say that I felt like I was in the wrong body as much as I was in the wrong role. Gender boils down to a lot more.
Was this individual blacksmithing there for a second?
Until recently, Alana was known as Ryan.
Do you know what is sad? You want to pause it real quick?
Breaking gender norms there.
How many people in the trans community commit suicide? That is super sad to me.
That is sad.
Unbelievably sad. But the research, I don't think, really shows that transitioning really lowers that and stuff. But it's super sad. I just wanted to make that point.
And also, just because we have to do it every time we talk about this subject, I support these people doing whatever they want, you know? I wouldn't not let them do that.
I don't really support them fighting females.
I don't either. Other than that,
I guess if the female agrees to it, but then again, they have undue pressure because if they turn down the fight, then it's well, you don't want to take a fight. Well, then get back in the back of the line, type of thing.
But then also, why do we have any separation of man and female sports at all? If we just, I'm curious how many of these transitioning have daddy issues.
We've got to show the YouTube video of the YouTuber making her kid cry. We got to show that too.
God, yeah.
All right, we have too much to cover once again.
I joined the United States Army Special Forces. My job was still a combat role. I was a shooter first.
Just tattoos.
I fought, I did all the things you're supposed to do.
We've seen enough, right? Should we show the fight?
Yeah. All right. So this person is now fighting MMA. Like, what a weird thing to want to do,
Man, I saw this thing.
Haha, box bar.
So I saw this thing. I was reading the comments on this, and it was so funny watching people twist themselves into pretzel to try to say it's okay. And one of the big liberal arguments is like, well, the female knew this is a sideshow, and she made bank from this. If you think people are making bank in UFC, or not UFC, I'm sorry, in MMA, you know nothing about MMA. I guarantee you this female did not make $1,000 for this fight.
No, of course. It's just ignoring the fundamental issue.
You know that the non-well-known fighters in the UFC usually fight, a lot of times they're making $5,000. $6,000. They're not making a ton of money.
And that's in the UFC. This is some amateur.
This is some
bullshit.
amateur show where they probably got $200 for this fight, split between them.
Right. So this dude was a fucking badass. Yeah, he was in special forces in the military. I'm okay with them fighting as long as they only get 70 cents on the dollar. That's a funny comment. Okay, here's the fight.
Here it is.
What you can say about Celine Provost and the folks at Combate Global were looking for a fight for Alana McLaughlin. Couldn't find one. And Celine Provost, who is a boxer, kickboxer, a
first fight in 6
R-type
years.
striker, said, I'll take the fight. We chatted with her earlier.
Not
and
only
she got behind.
Alana McLaughlin.
It's fighting a girl that hasn't fought in 6 years.
Right. And yeah, she agreed to the fight, but there's no difference between this and her fighting a man. Okay.
MMA, males peak kind of late 20s. Females is way earlier. You see it in like high school athletes even. You know, by the time females hit like freshman and sophomore of high school, they're already kind of matured as much as the seniors and stuff. Where males is they don't get completely mature to like 18, 19, 20, 21.
25.
And then you need a good decade of MMA to really hit that stride if you're a male. So this is somebody fighting a female that's 6 years since her last fight. And it sounds like she's more of a kickboxer than MMA anyway.
Right, I'm sure. It's just ridiculous, dude. Whatever.
We've had a lot of chance to talk to Alana McLaughlin and hear her story. And no matter how you feel about trans athletes.
What a dainty little flower.
Do you see that shirt says?
No.
End trans genocide.
Whatever, dude.
Where are trans getting murdered?
No, they have a persecution complex, you know.
In the Middle East, you probably maybe have an argument, but probably not. But holy cow.
Yeah, and trans genocide. Whatever. No. See, that's the other thing. No one cares.
The argument trans seem to have in this country, it seems the biggest issue is if they could use the bathrooms or what side bathroom they could use. Not stop killing us.
Right, which is like a battle that they've won also. Like even that, they've already won.
Yeah, you're right, they did. As we've seen from the small issue in the past and all this, they won that fight. They could that was the biggest fight, which bathroom they could use.
Right.
It came down to whichever one they want. How is that comparable to genocide?
And then they go, quit killing us. No one.
Holy cow!
And then they go, we want to fight the women in a cage.
Sure if you would ask,
why won't you let us?
I'm sure if you'd ask a trans activist, it would probably be something to do with like a suicide and stuff. Would be my guess because the suicide rate is higher. But that's not something go out there systemically.
Sure, they blame society.
Trans.
And then they go, oh, we can use whatever bathroom we want. Okay, well, I demand to go to female prison. And they're winning that battle. Yeah, okay, but then which is insanity, by the way. And then they go, let us fight women. Let us do all female sports and just win them all and destroy the records and absolutely decimate female sports. As long as this trans mania nonsense is going on, female sports are dead. Okay,
because they basically tell us science shows there's no difference between a transition male and a female. Yeah, well, why were these males, when they were males, so mediocre athletes? So mediocre, and now they're world-class female athletes.
Now they're at the top of it.
Explain that.
Right. And they'll whatever.
This fighter we're going to see that used to be Special Forces, you are going to have a hard time finding a male that's done more than 7 Taibo classes that this person could beat. I've been in the martial arts, mixed martial arts world for 17 years. And what we have here is a trained kickboxer that's not an MMA fighter versus an individual that has absolutely zero training.
Okay.
None.
Right.
None. But you can play it out.
Competing, you hear what this person has gone through, and your heart
is it part of being trans that you have to dye your hair?
It is very difficult from an early age growing up in South Carolina to going through the ultimate transition to make one happy. And that's what she wants
Oozing
to be, and that's what
femininity
everyone
here.
should be. But we will find out as Provost comes out swinging as we expected. Has one MMA fight.
Inside for the pocket or go for the legs.
McLaughlin not looking like the
Those are pretty brutal punches to the gut there. To the
And
side.
they're just such terrible form, too.
Yeah, but I mean, those are more solid punches than you see in women's fights. And those 2 punches to the kidneys there, like just hearing it, you can tell it's a dude punching her. Like, listen to this.
But we will find out as Provost comes out swinging as we expected. Has
Right-
one MMA
right
fight.
here.
Inside for the pocket
Look
or
at
go
that.
for the legs.
McLaughlin not looking like the stronger fighter and taking a ton of punishment coming in. Getting
No,
picked
you don't
away
think so?
there
You
as
don't
they
think
get.
she looks like the stronger fighter? Well, what was your first clue?
She doesn't look like the stronger fighter. Wow.
What was your first clue?
And Mac did Taekwondo for several years before his MMA stuff, I might mention. Were you a black belt in Taekwondo, Garrett?
I was not a black belt. I was brown belt Taekwondo. But don't hold that against me.
Yeah. She just whatever.
Get in the clinch, and this is where McLaughlin could have an advantage.
And you do not want to do this. This is what Celine did not want this fight to go. As Alana working her way.
McLaughlin in 6
She's
years
just
in the
going,
US
help.
Special Forces had a tour in Afghanistan as well.
She did connect. Celine connected there very, very hard in the head. And another right hook.
Just a ton of activity.
That transition. Her power, her strength
that
wasn't
one
the same. Yep.
Provost took
She's
a
gonna
big
go
right
down.
Cross.
And Celine's going to keep going with that 1-2.
And another
Perhaps
big uppercut.
Now, Alana's
Entire fight. Maybe not even for this entire round. Another big right hand gets in there.
minute she ran it
That's
at
what a
9.
yep.
So we're seeing that right here, right now.
Alana McLaughlin was very appreciative for Provost to take this fight. I don't know how appreciative is now, but she got a couple punches in. They are just slinging here.
Attack with a vicious uppercut.
Bad slip there.
Break her down, chop her down with
This is
the kicks.
pathetic,
She hasn't used it very often.
McLaughlin, big overhand right. Trained with some combate fighters like Claudia Diaz,
Clock with
Yahaira
the right
Cunningham.
She got clocked with the right hand into that left.
Yeah, she's taking this punishment, but big right from McLaughlin, second overhand.
And this dude just thinks this is fair, you know?
Did not find it. Protection there from Provost.
Jesus.
She thought there was is tired right now. McLaughlin looks the fresher of the two.
Celine needs to use that jab. Keep using that jab. Set it up. There we
that
go.
one got in.
She comes in with her head down. It's just a dangerous situation. It's almost like if you're walking.
McLaughlin coming up big, and now Provost has to survive. A lot of punishments. The knees coming in. The first one connected.
That's how
one
Fallon
not so
Fox
much.
broke
Provost
that
has to
chick's
get out there.
face.
Yeah.
Situation, a traumatic situation, and she suffers to this day from PTSD.
Big rifle, but that's an argument people will bring up, and they'll beg to differ. Now the strength
tried to go for the
trying to
double.
go up, does pretty well, gets her on the ground. Now you can see how her ground game goes. This is for Celine Provost, the uncharted waters.
Yeah, not your typical wrestling double take. I'm not surprised why she keeps using that, because he's telling her you have an opportunity to do that, because he's not a tall fighter, and when he competes against taller fighters, that's what he does. We've seen him from Roy Nelson, another big, heavy-set fighter, not as tall, and all he does is throw that over right hand to the big guys.
McLaughlin's got the back of Provost, and now
We might have a
dug in
Munich
deep.
Choke her out.
And the
Then
tap. Alana.
Boo.
Is the announcer keep saying he, or is he talking about a different fighter?
I don't know. It's hard
But
to
it
keep
feels
straight.
like he said he a lot there.
Well, that fight was pathetic.
But
I'll
anyway,
say he
yeah,
sucked.
pathetic. Yeah. Yeah, the ex-armed forces is a terrible fighter. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. Just such a joke, man. Whatever. Like, I can't get over how ridiculous our society is at this point. If we're letting them fight in
it's
MMA.
the party of science.
Yeah,
Science says there's no advantage a transition female has over a born female.
Right. Yeah, so I'm sure it's just a fair and square fight. She was on estrogen for 2 years, so it's just fair and square. That was lamer than a bag of dicks. Yeah. It's just so lame. But also, I mean, it's like we said before. It's just political correctness gone insane.
Yep.
And our society needs to wake up and say, like, how ridiculous are we going to be?
For sending that pendulum back our way. It's not yet, but they're slowing the momentum at the very least.
It is stuff like this that people
feels like it's already starting to come up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
The media needs to die, which looks like it's happening. And the next thing that needs to happen is a complete shift of social media. But that even feels like it's happening. It feels like there's more grandmas on Facebook than there are fifth graders.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Sixth graders.
Yeah. And
I think
18-year-olds.
I think that's a big trouble long term for Facebook, and it's going to be a big shift in social media.
We need free speech social media. That's what we need.
Yep.
Anyway, this MMA shit is just so insane to me. You know, I don't think a rational person can watch this or think about it and say that it's okay. You know,
they still attack Joe Rogan for saying that Fallon Fox shouldn't fight girls. And not even that. He doesn't even say that. He basically says there's an unfair advantage. And he's uncancelable right now. But they've tried to cancel him for that.
Yeah,
for saying that.
Well, whatever. I mean...
Nate, something tells me we're not going to Project Bluebeam again.
No, we're not going to. Which, that's fine. We'll push it off until we finally do it in a show. It's fine. Well, I think we covered trans insanity.
Next show, we've got to bring up that YouTuber trying to use her kid.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we'll wait for next time, so I'm sure we'll talk about that one for a while.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Do you have anything to play us out on?
Let me see. Let's put it out just on this, okay? Because there are several examples of what she says from politicians saying what she says here, and let's let her do it. This is like the health minister of Australia, okay?
Oh, I thought that was the MMA fighter we just saw.
Be put back in place, especially with reopening and people going back to pubs and stuff, because our exposure sites still, will they be put back in place?
Look how confused she is.
You know,
she's got that face like, huh?
Yeah.
What's happening there?
Dude, look at her square jaw. You got something with what you said there. She has a jaw. She should fight MMA. I think it's hard to knock her out, probably.
Look at her face after they start talking.
Yeah.
Look at that face.
Yeah.
She's confused with something already.
Yep.
To be listed
Holy
once
shit.
we are reopening, because they're not at the moment.
We will be looking at what contact tracing looks like in the New World Order. And yes, it will be pubs and clubs and other things if we have a positive case there. Our response may be differently.
Okay, did you catch it?
Was somebody going to ask her what the New World Order is?
I wish they would.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. What do you mean by in the New World Order? Okay, but there are several examples of politicians giving speeches in the last 2 years where they say New World Order. They accidentally Freudian slip and say New World Order.
And, you know, it's hard to get past that, and that's really strange. But almost as concerning or more concerning is she's basically admitting contact tracing is never going away.
Oh,
Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah, I know.
I mean,
they are starting to admit
it looks
that.
like.
Yeah.
How this changes.
We showed that other clip where some doctor said it should be forever, you know. I think they're starting to admit the plan. They had to pretend like, we aren't going to do vaccine passports. We aren't going to do contact tracing forever. We aren't going to lock you in your house for the rest of your life. And now they're starting to go, okay, we are going to lock you in your house forever.
Thank God Republicans are going to win all this back.
No shit. Thank God America has a constitution that they have.
And then it's going to be really hard for, especially Canada, when America has no restrictions and is doing better than these other countries.
Yeah.
And you're Canada looking at that. How do you keep going with
look
this?
At our sports stadiums. How is Canada putting up with this? Yeah. But they're starting to lose their patience with Trudeau. We've got a lot of videos of that.
Yeah, we got to show those next time too.
Well, anyway, we kind of just ranted this episode.
Yep.
I don't know if that's new or that's the same as usual, but
it's kind of nice we took a COVID break kind of with this one too.
Yeah,
it's kind of nice.
We didn't talk much about it, so.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot. Yeah,
thanks
for hanging out, everybody. Boxbar, Kenobi, Lily Lala. I don't know who else commented, and anybody else, just DZD. Thanks for hanging out.
DZD.
Yep. So,
DZD, do you think we're going to see a big market crash?
I think so.
It has to, right?
Are we planning to do a Thursday show or a Saturday show, Garrett?
Let's do Thursday.
Okay.
We'll plan on Thursday, and then we'll talk about a Saturday show.
Yeah, maybe do a bonus Saturday show.
Yeah. It's hard to commit to the weekend ones a bit, but also we have too much shit to cover. So
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks,
guys,
everybody.
It was fun hanging out.
Yep.
We'll tentatively see you guys on Thursday.
Peace.
Yeah, had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking aliens. Truth bombs that many never knew. We talking politics, everything up to the moon. Was the landing real or fake? I guess you'll never know. Let's talk, this is the Nate and Garrett Show, yeah. So lend me your ear, let's get it poppin'. You know that we keep it live, non-stopping. Educating, entertain, there ain't no doubt. After you listen, you'll be thinking way outside the box. From media dishonesty, never let them play you. Keep it authentic nowadays, many can't do. Unfiltered is how we do it. Make sure you stay locked in and tuned in, let's go. Had to come through and let you know. Keep it locked, this is the Nate and Garrett Show. Talking current events, let the conversation begin. Everything from conspiracies, yeah, I'm talking